So, so I go to the bathroom, and I go to the bathroom in like the cafeteria because I know nobody's in there, right?
It's pussy next door.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To pussy. To
Pussy.
But
First bleed. Your first bleed. What were the topics that? What were the stories or experiences that led up to that first bleed? What was your experience?
yeah, I mean, for me, my experience, I think looking back on it, seems to be good. I think it was good.
Okay.
Granted, like I mean, my first bleed was like twice. Like it was 2 times. So for me, like growing up as the only child and single parent household, it's just me and my mom. So I was exposed to a lot of things when it came to, our cycle or our granny or our Aunt Flo or any of the other names that you heard in the household when it came to having your period. So I had my little emergency kit, and I remember being like, it was like the end of 7th grade for me. Uh, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like, I feel different. Let me go to the bathroom. And so, so I go to the bathroom, and I go to the bathroom in like the cafeteria because I know nobody's in there, right? And so I go to the bathroom in the cafeteria, and I look and I'm like, oh shit, it's blood. So the first thing I do, because I didn't have my little emergency kit on me, I just thought like, oh, maybe I'm just having a tummy ache, not thinking anything of it. And because in 7th grade, I was still very undeveloped. Like I was a very underdeveloped, like teenager, preteen. So I just remember like wrapping some toilet paper, putting it down there, and then went to my locker, grabbed my little emergency kit, and then boom. And so I go home and I tell my mom, I'm like, Mom, I got my period. And she's like, oh, yay, you've become a woman. And how do you feel? And oh, I need to call your aunts. We need to celebrate this. And so it was just like, my mom went to Smart and Final and got apple cider, and we just celebrated it. So yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. And then after that, that was my first time on. And then I came on, I think, one last time, and then I didn't come on again until the end of my 8th grade year, like right before I went into 9th grade. So yeah. Yeah, it was one of those abnormal pre-starts, it was just seeing if I could handle it. So, yeah, yeah, let's just see. But yeah, I mean, it was a good experience. I like that. That's really good.
For me, so I grew up in a house full of girls, and I knew that there was a period. Yeah, I was like, there's blood and there's tissue, like there's blood in the toilet, and oh, there might be a little trip drop here. It's like, oh, maybe there's a drop on the floor, you know, maybe there's a little tissue, little pad in the trash. So it's like, oh, I know that there's blood, obviously. Comes from the girls. Blood comes from the girls. Got it. And then and then you use these pads here. I can see those pads. Oh, there's also tampons too. I can see those. All right, there's 2 types. Blood comes from girls. 2 types. You can use these or those.
Look at you, like, putting it all together.
I like how your education is where it's coming from.
Yeah.
You're like,
It's
today
from
we
the trash
have
can. Education from the trash
I'm
can.
done.
You're very observant.
Right, very observant.
Very observant. So I knew, like, okay, like, all right, this is what you do to address it whenever it comes. But I never really talked about it. It's just like, and I just knew that, all right, one day I'm going to use either of these. All right, so who am I going to take them from? Like, that was just the question. All right, am I going to get them from my mom, get them from my sister? It doesn't matter. Like, I know where they are. So, it was just one day I was at home, and I was like, huh. All right, I need one. Which one is it going to be? And then I was like, tampons it is.
You went straight for the tampon.
I went straight in. So I was like, stick it up there. I was like, all right.
Did anyone tell anybody?
Or you just went and got a tampon?
Nobody taught me. I don't know. It just seemed kind of intuitive. Okay. Just like, yeah, the little thing.
Yes.
All right, got it. I did tell my mom probably like I don't know when, but later. It wasn't just, I don't know, it seemed kind of like just, it's gonna happen. All right, it happened. All right, just keep going. And then it just kind of felt like it.
How do you think that may or may not have like impacted you later when you experienced periods and like your understanding of them, and did it feel like that was I mean, it sounds like a pretty neutral experience, but like
Actually, now that you say it, even though I know this question, I knew that this is what we're talking about. But like now that you pose the question to me, I'm thinking like that maybe like because it was kind of like a normal thing, it was just a normal thing, and it was something that it wasn't like normalized.
okay.
It was just like this is what it is.
Okay.
But there was never like a conversation about it. So I now find that in my like 20s or 30s, I'm like, oh, there's parts of your cycle, then there's different things that happen to your body, and like, oh, you can actually see different types of cervical mucus.
Yeah.
But I didn't know nothing about this shit.
Yeah.
So it's like I didn't have any concept of these things that were a part of my experience. And it's now like because there was never like any conversation, anything about it. It was just like, oh, okay, now I'm learning all these new things again from just like observing the pussyscape. Yeah,
Pussyscape. Listen.
observing the pussyscape of internet and like conversations and just realizing like, oh, there's more out there to learn. So I think just that kind of collecting evidence about
Yeah.
about yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about you?
What about me? I appreciate you. I feel like I had somewhere in between these kinds of stories, although maybe a little more maybe something negative looming that I'll make sense of in a moment. But I remember in like fourth grade, we had this like the girls stayed after school one day and they had this like, probably miserable like PowerPoint presentation about like the uterus and you're just like eating your snacks like with like 8 years old, and I can't say that it really made sense to me. I remember going home and being like, Mom, there's a menstruation or something like that, right? And I didn't remember hearing a lot about it from my mom, but I'm kind of laughing because I feel like at a young age I saw this movie called Carrie, which was like a horror movie, and I lightweight think I saw that movie before I got my period. And like to some degree, I feel like that movie was almost like a descriptor of what was coming, like more info than I got from anybody else, right? Like Carrie, she gets her period in the shower, and then the girls are like really mean to her, right? It's this intense bullying situation, right? Like when I got my period, I remember feeling more alarmed because, like you're saying, like cervical mucus, and the actual look of it didn't look like Carrie's. Carrie had this very like red, flowy type of blood, like something that you think of when you think of blood. And as I would learn later, like menstruation has different stages. Blood can look thinner and thicker. The colors can change, right? All these types of things. So initially it was like, what is this? Right. Oh, yeah. And it almost didn't register it as my period because it didn't look like this like runny red blood, right?
Yeah.
I was with my grandma. We were at her apartment, and I think I had come home from school with like mess in my underwear, and asked her like if is this my period, and she was sweet, and she was like, yeah, that's it, and like it was very like matter of fact, pretty neutral and sweet. My parents came back from wherever they were at work, something, and there was like I remember hearing my grandma tell maybe my mom, Lindsay got her period or something like that. And I feel like I remember either my mom or both my parents sort of having this like, all right, like damn, now you're old enough, right? And it was kind of like this it reminds me of like when we talking about pussy and how there was like what conversations at home were like, and a lot of it still felt for me at that age very like you can get pregnant now, like that, you know, this is almost a problem, this is like a fear, this is a concern, now you have a big responsibility to not let that happen, you know what I mean? Which felt more, I was excited because I felt like, you know, I'm a woman or what, you know.
Yeah.
I got mess in my I don't know if I'm a woman, but there's some shit in my underwear.
Messy.
But yeah, it still felt like a little bit of this negative of like, oh, now there's a fear or a concern something could happen. So I can't say that that felt really empowering. You know what I mean? This certainly did not go out. I wish we went out and had an apple cider.
Yeah, it was like really nice.
Yeah.
And then you remember like the little calendars, like the little pocket calendars. And so my mom went to the 99-cent store and got me like pocket calendars with like cute little doggies on it. And she was showing me like how to count my period. So then that way I can like learn how to do that. And of course, like you see about it when they have you in the 4th and 5th grade class.
Yeah,
where,
yeah.
like what reproduction.
Right.
You know, what is it? And so
Oh,
and so, right. So, but then I learned like how to count my period and things like that. And my mom was just saying, like, you know, during your period, you take better care of yourself. Like, you take care of yourself anyways as a young lady. But during your period, like, if you want to go take a bath, go take a bath.
Yeah, yeah.
If you need to go rest, go
Yeah,
rest.
yeah.
You know, like, and she was just like, my mom was really big with making sure my feet stayed covered when I was on my period. Like, so she got me cute little footies and like little socks and things like that. Because I guess like her belief is like if your feet are warm, your body and the circulation will stay warm, and it helps to reduce blood clots.
Mm.
So yeah. So yeah, I was just like, okay, whatever, you know. And I remember having like my first like blood clot, and I was just like, what is this? Like I remember like taking the tissue, and I'm like, why did Mom? Look. She's like, oh, girl, that's a blood clot. Don't worry about it.
Right.
She's like, you need to drink more water. You up there drinking them sodas. You need to drink more water. I was like, okay, whatever.
And I remember having like around the time or a little bit later after I got my period and it was like clear that more of my friends were on, having an understanding of like their symptom versus mine. Like I had some friends who got very sick, had very big clotting, and like they would need to take the day off from school and stuff like that. And just kind of understanding like, oh, all of our bodies are sort of doing something different with this. I had that thought. And then I also thought how interesting it would be to have our moms in the room and to talk about that first period now, because I feel like
Going through their minds.
well, I feel like I already know that my mom would probably say that there's certain things she would have done differently, because there was sort of, you know, we're in this time now of like way more access to information. There's way more visibility of like women's empowerment, body positivity, these kinds of things. So I think that would have been more of an influence than where we were at, which was, you know, just probably more like mainstream, patriarchal, even Catholic, where it was like, okay, that's your business, keep it to yourself. You know what I mean? So I just think it's curious to me what it would be like at this point in life to have a conversation with my mom about like, hey, you remember when I got my period? And like, what was that for you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's like interesting.
I find that to be interesting. Like I'm really kind of teasing that concept in my mind to be like, oh, what would that be like? Because from our perspective, as like going through it, it's like,
Right.
you have your own idea about it, and then from the parent perspective, yeah, I wonder what that would be like.
Because I can think of like, I have a little goddaughter, right? And I still want her to be a month old because that's her in my mind, right? And she's slowly and surely, obviously brilliant and getting into 3rd and 4th grade. And I think, from that idea of a person in a position of like protection, caretaking, love, and, it's an exciting, I wonder how I would be with her if that were to come up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an exciting thing. And also it's like, that's your baby.
Yeah.
What is it? What are some of the things that you kind of imagine that experience would be like in if it could be this experience? Like, how would you tailor that?
Like I know, like I have a friend whose daughter actually started her cycle here with me. And so of course like I did exactly like my mom did. Like we celebrated it and she was experiencing extreme cramps for baby. And I was just like, all right, babe, this is what you gotta do. You just gotta sit and you just gotta like be one with the pain. And I was like, and if you just can, I'm like, come through it. You'll just start feeling your body relax and you'll be all right. And I was just like, and then if you want to get like a little heat pad, you can put a heat pad there. Her biggest concern was like, I can't eat ice cream right now. And I was like, no, you want ice cream? We'll get you ice cream.
You can have
like,
whatever.
it's okay. You can have whatever you want, And so of course like, I was just like, but because we have like marble floors here, it was just like, all right, let me get you some footies. And I gave her some footies. And like her mom did this whole ritual with her because they're from the islands.
Okay.
And so she did like this painting ritual of like this like bamboo cord from home. And it's like, she's speaking like her affirmations for what she wants for her daughter. And then her daughter paints her side and speaks her affirmations, what she wants. And so to like see that, I was like, oh my God. I was like,
Dang, I
apple
feel
cider. And then like, Auntie Day. And I was like, oh, I'm just crying.
Listen, you got me like a little
We had
bit.
like the candles lit, we had our little cake and, and it was just like, welcome to womanhood. This is what it is.
I love
And,
that.
you're going to be awesome. Now it's like anything you want to do, you can do it. And now it's like you can fully manifest it. You can grasp it. And so she was just like,
Yeah.
so that was awesome for me to like experience that and be able to kind of like pass the torch, And so, yeah, that was awesome.
That's
That
amazing.
sounds really, really good.
Yeah. Like,
It's like celebratory too. It's
yeah.
like-
And it's something that she will never forget. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, oh, I started my period in Shaman, and I was at Aunt Today's house, and, we had apple cider and cake, and,
Yeah.
we did this ceremony, and it was so much fun, and so it's like,
Yes, that sounds so
yeah,
fabulous.
it was awesome. I was just like,
I only get my period with Davey.
baby.
I'll sign up for that too.
I'm like, whenever you guys want to, we can do it. I have apple cider. Well, now we old enough. We can do wine.
Right.
Hello.
That
Cheers.
helps. I find that it helps around that time.
Little wine.
Mm-hmm.
Little wine at the red time.
But that leads me to ask, like, what was your first lead like? Like, are you able to have these conversations with your girls? Like, we've mentioned this in previous episodes. What is that conversation like with your girls? Or because this is the first bleed, like, what did you do with your parents or your aunt or who was a relative that was there for you? Okay, like, we want to hear from y'all. Let us know what's going on.
And how does it affect you today? Or how has your perspective changed on your period, on your bleed? How has that experience of the first one stayed with you, changed how you view it? How might you respond if someone around you were to have their period?
Yeah, we look forward to hearing from you. I'm Davina. You can find me at Just Davina on IG.
I'm Lindsay. I'm at Empower Print.
Hey, I'm Aretha, and I'm at Maretha Show.
All right, see y'all later.
Peace.